Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be doing an updated carry tier list for 7.35B. I've got all the heroes listed out for you guys, and let's get into it. Alright, starting off the E tier, so literally the worst heroes in the game. We got Bristleback, Monkey King, Leshrac, and Terrorblade. Honestly, I wish Bristleback was a good hero, but ever since the nerfs to the Ags and the Shard and Bristleback, it just doesn't have a place. Monkey King is a cool hero that you would think is good in the meta right now because he's a decent response to a lot of the popular offlaners. And yeah, in the pro scene, if you're like a Giga specialist at the hero, you can make it work. Other than that, I think the hero is too difficult, it doesn't farm fast, it doesn't farm safely, well, unless you're really good at the hero, so doesn't really have a place. We then have Leshrac, who got nerfed too hard with the Bloodstone nerfs and some of its spell nerfs. Terrorblade, compared to the other illusion heroes and all of its nerfs, just make this hero not good. Also, Shiva's big problem for illusion heroes, and I would say big problem for Terrorblade. For the D tier, we have Clinks. I don't know, this hero is just okay. It's like worse Ricky, not a great laner. Has its place, but not great. Chaos Knight, nerfed too hard ever since the Giga patch. I think it was 7.34 where this hero was OP. Just fall from grace. Too many number nerfs. We have Shadow Fiend compared to other right clickers like Drow, Luna. I wouldn't pick Shadow Fiend. I think the hero is too fragile, too easily ganked, and requires too much mechanical skill to pull off. It's not worth it. We then have Sniper, who is honestly okay. Maybe the hero could rise from the D tier, but once again, comparing it to the other right clickers, long range right clickers, it just doesn't have a place. Then we have Ursa. I would say Ursa is a bit better Monkey King. Once again, a good response to the top tier offlaners, and I do think that's why it can have a place and can be better than D tier. So if you know what you're picking it into, if it's last pick, maybe it has a place, and that's the same thing for TA. If you know what you're picking it into, if you're a specialist on a hero and you know you're going to dumpster the lane, sure, you can go from there, you can carry the game off a strong lane. But I think this is a very risky and scary game plan. I think Ursa's a bit better than TA, but TA at least can Giga dominate lanes, take ancients very quickly, and snowball the match with Roshan. Alright, next up we have the C and the B tier, and these aren't in any particular order. I will have the S tier in particular order, but for these tiers, honestly, it's just a lot of situational matchups, so let's get into it. Alright, for the C tier, we have Muerta. Muerta is once again a hero that just got hit a little bit too hard in terms of the number changes. It was very popular, one of the most popular carries due to its reliable laning stage, but ever since the number nerfs to the W and to some of her other abilities, it just fell off. Next up, we have Bloodseeker, who has fallen off in the meta for a while now. I think ever since we've seen the rise in like these very tanky offlaners and these initiators with like Shivas and Eternal Shroud, Bloodseeker can have a hard time killing these heroes, and so he's fallen off. We then have Phantom Assassin, who got nerfed in terms of numbers too hard. I honestly think Battle Fury is a decent item, which would make this hero good, but nah, the numbers a little bit too hard, too many number nerfs. It basically gives most offlaners a completely free lane. We then have Ricky, who is very bad in high MMR, but the lower you go, the better he gets. He's a decent pub hero, you buy Diffusal and you fight. It's alright, but it's not a great laner, and if you can't get kills, you can't do anything. Then we have Pudge, who actually I'm a pretty big fan of. I feel like Shiva's Eternal Shroud, two of the best items in the game, are incredibly good on Pudge. However, I do think it loses the man fight to a lot of the top tier carries, and as a result, I put it in the B tier. Also, it has some pretty bad matchups such as Timbersaw that are very popular in the meta, and if you bump into one of those, your game is going to be pretty unplayable. We then have Weaver, who is a hero that's been shooting up in popularity. I do kind of like it against the Shiva's meta, as it doesn't get affected by the slow. It doesn't necessarily care about the regen, anti-regen from Shiva's, and the attack speed slow is not the end of the world due to your E. Alright, so I kind of like this hero. It's also a decent response to some of these low armor strength heroes, such as Centaur and Magnus. It's very good against both of these heroes, from my experience. We then have Gyrocopter, who I think is a good carry. People aren't playing it. I believe that it wasn't nerfed that hard from when it was considered S tier, and Flat Cannon, it's good for the laning stage, it's good for farming. This hero is, in my opinion, just a great flash farmer. I don't know why it fell off so hard. I think people honestly just got bored. We then have Nature's Prophet, who is played primarily as a support nowadays, but I believe this hero is just a good carry. It can get very active like the typical support Nature's Prophet does, and it can have a good laning stage, and it scales well. It still does what old carry Nature's Prophet does, which is farm fast and show up to fights, creates numbers advantages. It's kind of like a Ricky, but it can actually scale. We then have Alchemist, who is difficult in pubs. I consider putting him in D or E tier, and the reason why is he's very difficult to execute on. The laning stage is clunky, you have to know how to use Acid for the farming patterns, and the hero doesn't necessarily scale the best. Getting into that minute 30 to 40 range, it falls off in a lot of games, and so it's a hard hero. You gotta know how to play it. I'd recommend watching a video before giving it a shot, but I do believe it is B tier if you understand how to play the hero well. We then have have Sven, who's a hero that actually recently got buffed, and I kind of feel like it's a hero that's decent against this Shiva's meta, because you can often burst even high armor heroes with like Daedalus Sven. So I don't know, the hero's a pretty good laner. I feel like Warcry is a decent spell. The W got buffed to give him more strength. It's just that they nerfed the ulti a while ago and he hasn't recovered since, but I do believe this hero is B tier. We then have Wraith King, a hero that got nerfed super hard. I mean, insane. Man, this hero got destroyed. Skeleton nerf, ulti nerf. I think the Ags got nerfed, but the ulti definitely got nerfed. Like, the cooldown is so bad now. It's so long. Like, it feels like you just don't have your ulti ever. And so I don't think this hero is terrible. I'm putting it in B tier because Wraith King is a good pub hero. He's always been a good pub hero. He still is a good pub hero. He's been nerfed extremely hard, but the ease of execution on the W, the ease of execution of the ulti, the scaling is okay. It's just one of those heroes where if you don't know what to pick, you can pick Wraith King, you'll probably have a pretty good game. Then we have Phantom Lancer, not similar to Wraith King at all, but it's just one of the best scaling heroes in the game. Go Ags Diffusal, you're gonna feel good. We have Razor, a hero that I think requires a lot of understanding of the hero, but if you get good at it, it scales extremely well and can counter a lot of the top meta offlaners right now. We then have Spectre, a hero I don't think is that good, but at the end of the day, it's Spectre in pubs. You get kills, you snowball off the kills. We then have Lina, a hero I think is very fragile. It's kind of like Drow, but harder to play. And so I put it in B tier because, as I said, I think it's Drow, but harder to play and scales not necessarily as well. I think the higher you get in MMR, the higher you get in skill, the better Lina becomes because she's very difficult. Then we have Marcy, who you might not even consider a carry hero, but I actually think this hero is a pretty damn good carry. Yes, it doesn't farm very fast, but with the Ags build and just natural universal scaling, it actually scales very well and is something people should consider. Getting to the A tier, we have Luna, just one of the best farming carries in the game right now. The Shard is incredibly good. Her level 20 talent is nasty. This hero scaling, especially with the Conda build, is very, very good. I like that build a lot. It makes the hero scale with a little bit of magic damage, which is kind of nice in the meta. I also think Manta buyers are just very good in this current meta. Okay, then we have Troll Warlord, a hero that's shot up in popularity with the new Maelstrom and Mjolnir build. The most common build I'm seeing nowadays is actually Mjolnir into Ags. The Ags gives you a dispel on your hero, and you can dispel the enemy heroes with the ranged whirling axes. It's very good, very hard for a lot of heroes to play into. They just get completely countered, like Windranger. Her Windrun just gets dispelled. So yeah, this build feels great. The treads in a Maelstrom gives you attack speed and it allows you to build up fervor fast, making the hero a much bigger threat. Also, they buff the ulti a lot. I feel like this ability isn't that bad. Then we have Abaddon. Abaddon is a hero that a lot of people think is just an offlaner, but let's be real. Even in the offlane, you buy carry items. You're buying Echo and Manta style, right? These are just carry items. The hero is a good carry. It's great in terms of the lane. It actually does farm quite fast with the changes to the E and how just good W is as a spell. So Abaddon, definitely a formidable force. I see him as like a better Wraith King right now. Then we have Medusa, classic Medusa. The hero's pretty good. Manta style, strong item, been buffed over and over and over again as of late. So that really helps heroes like Luna and Medusa. And I don't know, I just feel like she's a good hero. Every time I see her, looks solid. Scotty's not a good item, which might seem like, okay, that really hurts Medusa, but honestly, she mainly just bought it for the stats. Yes, the slow does hurt her, the fact that it doesn't go through BKB, but you have Stone Gaze for BKBs, which is kind of a nice option. It kind of covers the weakness of the Scotty nerf. And then Butterfly has been buffed extremely hard, helping heroes like Luna, once again, and Medusa. So these Manta Butterfly heroes kind of just shot up, not because the heroes are that much better, but because of the fact that they buy good items. Then we have Lifestealer, very good against some of the current meta. We then have Drow, a hero I've been talking about quite a bit. I think that this hero isn't that good the higher you go. It is a very clunky laner. It dies to portal rotations, but honestly, in your average pub guys, these things just don't tend to happen. And so the hero's biggest weaknesses don't get exploited, and then it just looks extremely good in my opinion. You're very good in the early fights with Dragonlance and the Yasha. You just kind of show up late to the fight and you're gonna have a ton of impact. The farming rotation is very easy with Ancients, and then you scale with your Shard. We then have Slark, hero I was very suspect about, but the win rate continued to prove itself that Slark is a good hero in the meta. Reason why? Well, what you guys have actually been teaching me in the comment section down below, which I always appreciate, is that the items this hero buys are good. And that often is a trend, which is like, what heroes are good? Well, you look at the items, what items are good? Does that hero buy those items? And Slark, he loves Diffusal. Diffusal, one of the most buffed items of the patch, not because it directly got buffed, but because it has Disperser, an item that's a bit old, but that item has been changed, and it's in a great place right now. So that really helps Slark have a Dispel. He doesn't have to buy Manta, he can just upgrade a current item that saves him a slot. He also loves Mage Slayer, his Shard has always been good, and his Ags is still good. So the hero buys good items. Then we have Jug, who the Mjolnir build feels very good on. I think this hero is just solid, not great, but not bad. And finally we have Naga, who is always one of those A tier heroes. I don't believe she will drop below that very frequently, because if you pick Naga in the right Naga game, she will win the game. That is how Naga goes, and she still is that. All right, and finally for the S tier, we're gonna start off with the 4th best hero, which is Morphling. Manta Buyer, Butterfly Buyer, arguably the best Butterfly Buyer in the entire game because of the fact that Butterfly gives attack speed based on your agility. That agility that Morphling has, which he just shifts all of his strength into agility, so it is like the highest agility hero in the game, gets turned into attack speed, so this hero shreds. And Conda is one of the best items in the game right now for heroes that can actually use it, and Morphling is the best hero to use it, bar none. He is the best. And so Manta being buffed, Butterfly being buffed, and him using Conda has made a hero that otherwise, in my opinion, wouldn't be very good, very good. Then we have Meepo. I've been talking a lot about this hero, cheesy hero, but at the end of the day, it's just good right now. This hero, it's not a great laner early on, but once it hits level 4, it's a farming menace. Then when you hit level 11 and you get your Diffusal Axe, you are one of the highest damage heroes in the game, and you're one of the hardest heroes in the game to kill, and you're one of the fastest farmers in the game, and you can roach, and you can take buildings. This hero really does do it all in my opinion. It's a nasty pub hero if you get good at it, and definitely should be considered. Then we have Faceless Void, a hero that has shot up in popularity ever since the change to Maelstrom. It also received some stat buffs. So yeah, Faceless Void, it's just good in the meta. It scales well, takes advantage of the camps, and as I said, the changes to Mjolnir have really helped this hero shoot up in popularity. And finally, last but not least, yeah, I actually do believe that Arc Warden is the best carry in Dota. I've seen it shoot up in popularity, and I've been saying it in my videos, guys. I've been saying it. This hero will rise in popularity. It will rise. And it's starting to rise in popularity. I'm not surprised. This hero, I don't even think is close to its peak yet. I think people are just starting to understand how good it is due to how flexible it is, like in the pro scene. I think people are gonna unironically start picking this hero first phase potentially. Call me crazy, but I really believe that. Reason why? It's a pretty damn good laner, right? Spark Wraith is a good spell, especially if you're on Dire. It farms stupid fast. Double Midas is double Midas. Maelstrom, buffed item. Feels great on this hero. Mjolnir, incredible item. I think Mjolnir active is one of the most broken things in Dota. I think that's part of the reason Faceless Void is broken. Really, I believe that. I think if more people bought Mjolnir on just a variety of heroes, the hero would shoot up in popularity. Look at Troll. I think Jug is the same thing. I really don't think Jug's necessarily that OP, but I think just clicking Mjolnir is obscenely strong. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go look at the numbers on this. It's insane. And Arc Warden gets 2 of them. So yeah, the hero scaling is insane. Laning is good. The only thing it can do is like get run over. I've had games where it can get run at, but it recovers so well with Midas and Maelstrom that it often just doesn't matter. So yeah, huge fan of this hero. I really do believe it's OP. I just think you have to know how to play it. You just gotta know how to play it. You gotta put the time in. All right, but thank you guys for watching this updated carry tier list for patch 7.35b. Hopefully you get a new patch soon so I can update it once again, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the Game Leap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace!